of our four-game series between the San Francisco Giants and the Atlanta Braves. Braves trying to win 3 out of 4 against the Giants and wrap up a 5-2 homestand. And good afternoon, everybody, with Joe Simpson and Braves Hall of Famer Tom Glavine. Chip Caray back at the ballpark, where we have seen great pitching performance one after another in this series. The storyline last night, though, was timely Braves hitting.
And much needed. And 2 key hits in the ballgame. As Chipper said, if Troy Glaus hadn't gotten the 2-run single with the bases loaded right here, he said we might still be playing, because it was the inning in which all the runs were scored. A 2-run single that will have to do a lot for Troy's confidence. And then on a changeup that was left up, Rick Ankiel hooks one into right field, almost hit it out to drive in a run. And then it was up to Tim Hudson to do the rest.
Yeah, Huddy was spectacular, and no surprise there. I mean, he's been pitching great all year long. It seems to have gotten only stronger since the All-Star game. And, Wags had a little bit of anger in him last night when he took them out, I think, after Friday night's game. So that was good to see, too.
Braves have a 2-game lead now in the National League East. They won last night. The Phillies were beaten 1-0 by the New York Mets. So could be a very good day all around for the Braves if Derek Lowe can pitch a good one against Jonathan Sanchez in the series wrap-up. Glad you're with us on Braves baseball here in Atlanta. We'll have the series wrap-up, first pitch and starting lineups coming up right after this. Brought to you in part by Sherwin-Williams, by your local Ford dealers, by AirTran Airways, and by AT&T Uverse. Great pitching's been one of the great storylines of this weekend series with the San Francisco Giants. Today, the Braves and Giants wrap up a 4-game set. And Braves fans everywhere basking in the afterglow of a masterful performance from Tim Hudson yesterday.
He recorded 24 outs last night, and only 1 left the infield. 23 of them were by ground ball outs or strikeouts. He was on, and Brian McCann told me from the first warm-up pitch of the night in the bullpen, he knew something special was in store because he had an amazing sinker working.
wonder how many times those catchers say that and it actually works out like that.
3 times, I'm told, with you.
Yeah. Well, fortunately, it did last night. Yeah, Huddy, to say he was good is an understatement. I mean, when you're getting that many ground balls and the strikeouts to go along with it, I mean, pretty good indication his sinker was working, his command was there, and you know, last few times out too, it seems like he's kind of rediscovered his slider a little bit more, and that's really been a good pitch for him.
Well, let's hope the sinker's working for Derek Lowe against this Giants lineup. San Francisco a game behind the Padres in the West, a game and a half in front of the Phillies for the wild card, and Atlanta has to take special care with Pat Burrell, who's had a good run and is batting cleanup for Bruce Bochy's club today.
A little different look to their lineup for Derek Lowe, 37 years old, 6'6", 230 out of Dearborn, Michigan, making his 24th start of the year. His last 7 against the Giants have been very good. He's undefeated in those 7 starts, going 3-0 with a very good ERA. He beat them back in April out in San Francisco, gave up only 1 run in 6 innings, but he walked 7 that day. So he was able to pitch out of the stretch quite a bit and pitch effectively. His 4 keys to success today: go low. Yeah, cheer him on. Go Derek Lowe. But actually go low. Keep it low like Hudson did last night. Get those ground ball outs and pitch to contact. Make him short innings today. It's going to be hot and muggy. He's pitched in a lot of day games lately, and the less time he spends on the mound today, the better for him.
And Andres Torres will start things off for the Giants. Well, he did a great job in his first at-bat of the game last night against Hudson. It was an 11-pitch sequence that I think had everybody real worried about how long Tim would be able to go in the game. But after Torres was retired, Tim breezed merrily along. Hopefully Derek can do the same today.
Yeah, I think he only went to 3 3-ball counts all night, and 1 was the leadoff batter. I sure like what I've seen of this guy, though. He's no kid. He's 32 years old, but what a difference he's made for their lineup, and a lineup that needs some help.
Giants do not have Buster Posey playing the day game after night game last night. So you're right, Joe. This is a different looking Giants lineup.
Freddie Sanchez has struggled in this series. He's gone 1 for 13 and has had a hard time lately. So Sandoval moves up into the number 2 spot. Sanchez drops. Here we go again.
Yep. Well, hopefully it'll be Derek will get the hardest hitter of the game out of the way, and everything else will be smooth sailing like it was for Tim.
Everybody's different. I know pitchers are very particular about what they wear when they pitch and everything. But man, wearing long sleeves on a day like today.
Yeah, I was never one that liked the short sleeve look myself, but yeah, at least on a day like today, it wouldn't be anything more than a 3/4 sleeve. But you know, those jerseys they make nowadays are so thin and so high tech. Who knows? It may not be all that bad.
Lowe works quickly and walks Torres to start the game. And here's how the Braves line up behind him in the series wrap up. Diaz, Ankiel, and Cabrera. Day off for Jason Hayward with a hard-throwing left-hander on the mound for the Giants. Brooks Conrad gives Chipper a day off. He'll play third base. And the same story for David Ross in place of Brian McCann.
Posey and Hayward getting right into the veteran mode, huh? Day game after night game. I like it.
Both grew up in Georgia. They're not used to the heat.
Now, I have a feeling they're sitting on the bench sweating right now, saying, man, I'd rather be out in the field sweating.
Torres with 21 steals leads from first. Pablo Sandoval, the Giants' third baseman, is ahead in the count.
Well, part of the success for Derek in his last start, and he should have gotten a win and didn't. Got a no decision against the Mets, but he went 6 innings and only gave up 1 run and didn't walk anybody. And that was a key to his success that day, at least for him.
That's funny. Like we were talking a little bit before the game. You look at Derek's numbers lately, and his walks are down, his runs per game are down, and he's not able to win.
Ground ball to first with the runner moving to second. Torres
Which, if you
Sandoval is the first out.
Sorry, Chip. If you look at his numbers earlier in the year, it's almost like the win-loss record that he has right now should have matched the numbers that he was putting up in April versus now, and that just goes to show you how difficult this game can be sometimes. You know, sometimes it's a little bit of luck, and you go out there and maybe you're not quite right, but you're getting run support and winning. And right now he's actually throwing the ball much better than his record indicates, but he's in that mode right now where it's hard to win a game
and hard to get runs,
which wasn't a problem for him in the first 2 months. The Braves are scoring a ton for Derek. Runner at second for Huff, and Aubrey down in the count.
That's a good sign there from Angel Campos, the home plate umpire. If he'll give Derek that pitch today, he'll be in business.
Did you scout the umpires behind the plate, Tommy, in your day?
You know what? Initially, early in my career, before they merged everybody and did all that stuff, you know, when it was National League, American League, and that kind of stuff, you didn't really have to. You knew them. You knew who they were. You knew what their strike zones were, what their reputations were. Nowadays, it's hard. It's hard to know who half of these guys are anymore. But I think there are still guys that have a little bit of a reputation of either being more aggressive calling strikes or less aggressive calling strikes, and you kind of have a good idea about that going in.
Huff's been a nice addition to this Giants lineup. As Joe mentioned, they've been looking for offensive help this year. Huff's provided his share of it, hitting over 300. He's hit 20 home runs for San Francisco. And has a couple of lifetime home runs against Derek Lowe. And a line drive caught, and a double play.
Gotta love a double play when it's a line drive rocket headed for the gap.
A double play erases a Giants threat in the first inning. And now Bobby Cox has this lineup for you on this sunny Sunday afternoon. And how often do you see it? A guy starts a double play and leads off the next inning. And that's the case for a red-hot Omar Infante. He's got a 10-game hitting streak working.
Happens all the time.
They'll go against Jonathan Sanchez, 27 years old, 6 feet, 195 pounds. This guy, you just never know day to day which guy you're going to get. He averages 7 hits allowed per 9, highest walks per 9 of anybody in the National League, and almost 10 strikeouts per 9 innings. He's got good stuff. Throws hard, has a good curveball. Left-handers are only hitting about 195 against him. His key, absolutely control. He's got to throw strikes. The amazing Jonathan. Is he the comedian or the magician today? Because you never know day to day if he's going to be able to throw strikes or not.
Let's hope not.
Fly ball into right center, but Torres tracks her down. And Omar flies out. Giants, one of the best defensive clubs in baseball. That's why they're knocking on the door of a playoff spot. Sandoval, Uribe, Sanchez, Ishikawa along the infield. Eli Whiteside is the man that caught Sanchez's no-hitter last year and works with him in the series wrap-up today. And Melky Cabrera looks at ball one.
I wonder, we have to find out the background of this kid a little bit, because if you took the Giants uniform off him and put a Mets uniform on him, I think we're watching Johan Santana. Very similar stance on the mound as to how he gets started. Very similar mechanics, and it looks like he's got similar stuff with the good fastball and the biting slider.
And that surprises me. If you were going to compare him to a Mets guy, I would have said Oliver Perez.
Oliver Perez too, but I think there's a little bit of Oliver once he gets into his windup. But the setup and the start and everything reminds me an awful lot of Santana. And then
shot to right, but it hangs up for Huff. 2 outs.
And then with the number 57, I'm wondering if there's.
Well, he's from Puerto Rico, you know, and he's probably wanting, maybe that's his guy to emulate. And he's built about the same way. 6 feet, 195 pounds. Not a whole lot of difference in the two.
The other sidebar to this matchup, you have Sanchez, who leads the National League in walks, facing the team that leads the National League in walks. See how patient the Braves are with Jonathan in this game. That pitch is 8th of the inning.
Santana's from Venezuela. I've tried to make them both Puerto Rican countrymen, but Santana's a Venezuelan and Sanchez from Puerto Rico. He's thrown a no-hitter. Threw a no-hitter at the Padres last year. No walks, 11 strikeouts in that game. Beat the Rockies his last time out. Got a lot of runs to work with. Beat them 10-0. He went 6 innings, 3 hits, no runs, 4 walks, and struck out 9 and struck out 7 in a row at one point. Is that right?
Yes, something. Yeah, I think he tied a Giants record, right?
Yeah, Juan Marichal did that back in the 1964 season for the Giants.
Well, the rotation's dynamite. And they got this kid Madison Bumgarner that we didn't see, another left-hander. 3 lefties in their rotation to go with Kane and Lincecum.
Yeah, their rotation, you look at rotations around baseball now, and obviously the Phillies get a lot of attention, having gotten Oswald. You look at their 3 guys, and you look at the guys in St. Louis, and the Padres have a great staff that nobody knows about. But yeah, this staff to me is right up there with anybody in terms of depth, in terms of their youth, and in terms of just the pure stuff that these guys bring out there every day. I mean, there's a lot of young guys on this staff that if they figure out how to pitch, they could do some damage.
In the air, shallow right center. Who wants this? Nobody wants it. Freddie Sanchez just gave up on that ball. And neither Torres nor Huff could catch up to it. And no chance for a Sanchez no-no. A blooper falls in for the first base hit for the Braves.
Now, the way Sanchez went after that, sitting here watching, I thought the center fielder had it. I thought it was going to be no question the way he gave up on it.
I agree, and then I looked at Torres, and he was looking at Sanchez. The only thing that got caught here was Aubrey Huff caught his hat. It blew off, and he caught that. He did a real good job on that play. Alex was disgusted. He thought it was just a routine out.
But the inning stays alive for Matt Diaz.
And a few more pitches for Sanchez in the sunshine.
Matty hitting .282 this year against lefties. Numbers that have improved since he's come off the disabled list.
His thumb's not 100%, but it's getting better all along.
I'm looking at these game stats. I wonder, is there a typo on this? This guy's left-handed, and Matty's only hit 143 against him.
That can't be right.
Well, fortunately, he's only hadn't had too many at bats, so a good day today can change that in a hurry.
Had 3 balls hit to right or right center, and I thought Infante's ball might slice away from Torres, but it hung up for him to run under. Same thing for Huff to catch Cabrera's, and then that pop fly drops. And what breeze we have today is blowing in from right center, so you might suspect that the wind had something to do to affect all 3 of those balls that were hit that way. Something interesting, too, that I saw in their notes about this guy is that in his career, base runners have had a 79% success ratio stealing bases against him. And that's extremely high for a left-handed pitcher.
The opponents have tried to steal 84 bags against Sanchez. 66 have reached the next bag successfully.
Might need to go give Andy Pettit a call. Spend a little time on that pickoff move. Or quicken it up. One of the two.
And there's the first walk of the game, and it brings up Troy Gloss.
What did you find out, Tom, about his average walks and the Braves' average walks? We can kind of count on about 4 today.
Yeah, 4. He's what, 4.9 a game, and the Braves are 4.1. So you got to figure those two worlds are going to collide. You know, not surprisingly, on top of that as well, I mean, he's 4th, I think, in the National League in the number of pitches per inning. And this is kind of a snapshot of I think, of how a lot of his innings tend to go.
Exactly right. 17, averages 17 plus innings, plus pitches per inning on the season.
Ross jumps at the first pitch. That ball slicing away from Huff. But Aubrey with a hop makes the play, and that retires the side. Braves strand a pair, and we remain scoreless.
And see, now that I thought that ball
In this ball game. Game time temperature today 95 degrees, and with the 53% humidity reading, the heat index 108. Turner Field this afternoon.
Again, quick innings could be a key today for both these pitchers.
I think Derek threw 4 warm-up pitches between innings, so I think getting loose is not an issue.
You said last night, Joe, that the Giants were really looking forward to playing in some heat down here in Atlanta. As that one out of reach of Omar Infante, and Pat Burrell, a broken bat hit. What's odd about this series is the Giants are going to head back home where the temperatures are in the low 50s this week. They say it's been the coldest summer on record in San Francisco.
Yeah, I think the only guy that wasn't looking forward to pitching in the heat was Tim Lincecum, and it might have taken its toll on him in the first game of this series.
Braves chance to send him home hot and bothered. Chance for Atlanta to win 3 out of 4. And again, Tommy, for those who were just joining us, didn't get a chance to see us on the pregame show, congratulations on the wonderful ceremony here the other night. Braves Hall of Fame and number 47 in its rightful place.
Yeah, thank you. It was a fun day. It was a long day, but it was a fun day. And from the luncheon Friday afternoon and right on through Friday night's game, and the number retiring, I mean, it was great. And I was overwhelmed with the response from the fans at the ballpark to withstand that 2-hour rain delay and hang around. It was really, really great.
Fly ball left center field. That's going to get between Diaz and Ankiel. Burrell rounds third, and he will score without a throw, and the Giants lead 1-0.
Been talking about Uribe this whole series about being an unsung hero in their lineup. Now with 63 RBIs, and what a free swinger he is. And doesn't matter what the counter situation, he's going to swing hard.
Yeah, that's his MO. He's up there hacking, especially when he's got runners on base. And Derek threw a slider right there. Looked like he caught a little bit more of the plate than he wanted to. Didn't quite get to that outside corner where he get it out the end of the bat and maybe get a ground ball double play.
A couple of hard hit balls off low in the first inning plus, and now Travis Ishikawa, the first baseman, bats.
I was with you a great deal of the day Friday, beginning at about 9:30 in the morning and forward. But one thing I kept forgetting to ask you and wanted to ask you was how you got number 47. Did you pick it, or was it assigned to you?
It was assigned to me. I showed up in spring training, and 47 was hanging in the locker, and like I said, when I showed up, I was glad that it wasn't the other way around, because at least, not that I thought I had a chance to make the team that year, but at least gave me some hope that I wasn't too far away.
74 might have given you a different
yeah.
feeling.
74 is typically you're a little bit further down the road.
Now we can take a trip down memory lane and show the fans the very youthful looking Tom Glavine back in the day. That's chopped off the plate. Gloss has to shovel quickly. Uribe to third now with one man down. Now look at this fresh young face, Joe. I mean,
well, yeah, this one right here is like his Little League uniform.
Opie Taylor.
Then we go to the mullet. MVP.
Old guy.
Grizzled veteran. No, I don't want that one. I want the circle change. I want the circle change.
Oh, hey, I'm like the rest of you guys. I used to be young once.
It was closer to you than it was to me.
Ball one to Freddie Sanchez.
What was the S on your hat on that first picture?
That was the Sumter Braves. That was my first full year of minor league ball in the South Atlantic League in Sumter, South Carolina.
Now, was Lemke your first roommate?
He was, yeah. Yeah, when I showed up in Bradenton, Florida is where I went my first year, which was right after the draft out of high school. I went to Bradenton, Florida, Pirate City, and played rookie ball there, and scared to death and walked in my room, and there was Lemmer.
What was scarier, having Lever as a roommate or being a professional player? Popped up at short. Ball lost, and everybody's safe.
Got the sunglasses behind his hat and not on.
And the crowd lets Alex know about that.
Ow. He had him on the back of his hat, still does, but that might have helped, might not if it was right in the sun.
And he is charged with an error.
Wow. They don't typically do that.
Maybe if he had had the glasses on, might not have been. But more trouble for Lowe now. Instead of runner at third, 2 outs. He's got him first and third, still 1 out. And the catcher, Whiteside, is up.
The Giants coming into this game the worst in the National League in hitting with runners in scoring position, and 26th out of 30 in the major leagues. So that hit by Uribe, a welcome sight for them. Double play in the first inning, albeit a line shot double play. Adds to their league leading total in that category too, up to 111.
Whiteside's hit to 3 of them in limited duty. Barrett could sure use one in this second. Runner at first goes. Flip. Got him! Got him again!
Wow. I didn't think there was any way they'd get the lead runner.
That makes up for the pop-up.
Shades of last night. And another beautiful turn by Infante bails out the Braves in the second.
Fans are speaking up. Post your comments and photos and join the conversation. Plus, Spurrier has some moves he's showing off.
Let's get that one live.
It's online right now at SECGridironLive.com.
Giants strike first, but Alex Gonzalez strikes back for the second straight game.
Tremendous play here with the runner going to even think about having a chance at the lead runner. Just a brilliant play to save a run. And those two guys turned in a similar double play on a flip with the glove last night. That was a big play.
Yep.
This was the play last night. He was flipping the ball as he was still sliding last night.
Yeah, that one just now, even if the runner hadn't been moving, there was still a ball that when it was hit, you're thinking, it's not hit hard enough to get a double play.
Right.
And with the runner going, I'm sitting here watching it going, they got no chance. Man, that was quick.
Brooks Conrad a little late. Playing third base for Chipper Jones today, and Brooks could use the hit. He's 0 for his last 11.
A lot of them right-handed too, Chip. His numbers right-handed don't compare to his left side. He's 3 for 17 right-handed. We often talk about how difficult it must be for switch hitters to keep both sides going at once. How about when you're coming off the bench and not playing regularly, trying to keep them both going?
Well, I got no problem with Brooks coming off the bench with the bases loaded. Right-handed, left-handed, doesn't matter to me.
Me neither.
Oh, Pablo Sandoval couldn't get the wheels on track. And Brooks Conrad doubles to start the inning. Man, oh man, did the Kung Fu Panda stagger trying to go for that ball.
Looked like he was running in quicksand.
He's pretty sure-handed when he gets to the ball. But this was one that, as you guys said, most guys might have gotten some leather on it. I wasn't sure if he was going to dive or not, and he got caught in between.
So here's a chance for Rick Ankiel to move Conrad up or bring him home. And this is another area, Joe, we touched on last night where the Braves have struggled scoring. They haven't cashed in a lot of leadoff double chances.
They're 0 for, it almost seems like 0 for July and August, getting this guy over with a leadoff double.
But Ankiel does his job.
Not anymore, they 0 for.
And now David Ross becomes the key man in the inning.
They'll bring their infield halfway in, which always confuses me. Are you trying to get the runner at the plate or not? If you are, then why aren't you playing in?
Well, as the pitch came home, they all crept in another 2 or 3 steps.
If they're trying to deceive the runner at third base, then that's okay. But I always think that sometimes managers do this, dictated by who the runner is at third. If you got a slow runner at third, then you've got you can play back a little deeper. But Brooks runs good.
Yeah, it's almost like if they can get the one hopper or a hard hit ball and cut the run down at home plate, then fine. But at the same time, they're trying to guard against having that little nubber roll through the infield and maybe start a big inning type of situation. So, but yeah, I'm with you. Either you're all in or you're out.
Good eye by Ross. 2 balls and a strike.
He hasn't played in this series, but he's 4 for 8 on the homestand. And all he's looking for right now is something that Sanchez might get up in the zone that he can hit to the outfield. Base hit or otherwise, but he'd take a sacrifice fly.
Now it's 2-2.
Guys are a little late if they're doing the national anthem flyby.
Yeah, they are. Somebody told him it was a 210 start.
Now Sanchez and Whiteside want to talk it over.
Well, no, here's what you do if you're Sanchez, Tom. With you got a base open, obviously, and you got the pitcher on deck. That might set up a potential double play situation, but also might set up a squeeze possibility. All those things. Do you really want to pitch to Ross here?
I think right now you do. With 2 strikes, yeah, your mindset is to put him away and put him away. I'm sure Sanchez is thinking strikeout right now. He's thinking strike this guy out. I got the pitcher coming up next that will get me out of the inning with no runs. Early in the count, maybe not. Maybe he's trying to get David to kind of get himself out a little bit. And if he doesn't, then yeah, you fall back on plan B, which is all right. I have the pitcher up, and it gives me some options. But right here, I'm guaranteed that he wants to put him away.
David didn't chase. Conrad doubled to start the inning. Ankiel moved him to third with a ground ball out to second. Now a full count pitch to the 8th place hitter, David Ross. And there's a high fly ball deep left. Pearl going back. Hey, and that's the first homer of the year for David Ross. He attacked him, and Ross responds with a 2-run homer.
I don't know which one of you it was I said this to this morning. I think the Laser Baker, that when I was writing down my lineup and I got to David Ross and I said, David hasn't hit a home run today? That surprises me because he's had some big hits. And lo and behold, there's number 1. That's not where he wanted it.
No, and then it's funny. I was thinking up to myself before the pitch, and I didn't say anything because I wasn't going to get it in before the pitch was made. But I thought he was in an interesting spot right there because I felt like if he was going to punch him out, he was going to try and go in. But that's David's danger zone. But if he tried to attack him away, I think he was playing into the hand of David being able to put the ball in play with a ground ball and score that run. And it looked like he kind of went for the ladder and tried to go away and threw it right down the middle, and David didn't miss it.
And I had a different thought, and I couldn't get it into because he was working quickly. I thought, you know what? Again, he's got first base open. He doesn't have to throw him a fastball. He could come back with his breaking ball and see if he could get him to chase it. But it was fastball all the way.
So the 14th home run allowed by Sanchez this year is the first for David Ross. And the Braves are leading for the first time here in the second inning. Now Sanchez behind 3 balls and a strike to the pitcher.
It's got to do a lot for you if you're Derek Lowe, too. Not only to get that run back you just gave up, but get one more.
Make him work. Second walk. And the first visit of the day for the Giants.
Dave Righetti, a terrific pitcher in his own right, and a guy who threw a no-hitter for the Yankees and has become a highly respected pitching coach for the Giants.
Two in, one on, and one out. We invite you to join us at the ballpark a week from today, Sunday, August 15th. You can spend the day at the yard with your son for an afternoon of baseball at Turner Field. Each package includes a special discounted ticket, commemorative Mother's Sunday t-shirt, and a pregame parade around the field. For tickets, visit Braves.com/mothers. Top of the order, and Omar Infante.
Braves are 18 and 18 against left-handed starters this year, but at home they're 12 and 5 against them. It's kind of like day games. All the other numbers at home are really skewed to the Braves side. Day games, they're 20 and 15 overall, but 14 and 1 at home, which kind of coincides with their best home record in baseball.
Braves 38 and 15 here at Turner Field. Try to continue their mastery over the Giants in this ballpark. It's amazing. You look at the San Francisco club in 16 all-time series here in Atlanta at Turner Field. They've won one of them. Giants 1-12 and 3 in all-time series since Turner Field opened.
It's almost impossible to believe.
18 and 35 in this ballpark.
Two balls, two strikes.
And I don't know this to be true, but if I had to guess which series it was, it would have been that one that Barry hit about 7 homers in 3 days.
That'd be a good guess.
Back-to-back walks. And again, this matchup plays right into the hands of the Braves' offensive game plan. A wild pitcher, a patient offensive club. And the workload for Sanchez starting to take a toll. He's got to take a walk and mop his brow.
Yeah, you got to give him a chance to get in the hole, though. I mean, if you chase a bad ball on the first pitch of the count, then shame on you. You're really not in any kind of hole if you take a borderline strike for an 0-1 count. This guy's not a guy that's going to go after you and get you out right away. 1, 2, 3 pitch at bat.
Yeah, these are the guys that I always wondered about too, with the hitter's approach. And I don't know, you can speak to it, Joe, but as a pitcher, you'd always watch guys like this, and that was the mindset. You'd sit on the bench and just go, man, if you give this guy a chance to let himself get in trouble, he's going to get himself in trouble, and then you can pounce on it. But I would suspect as a hitter, there's got to be some in your mind of thinking, well, he's having troubles throwing strikes. You know he's going to try and groove one for strike one here or something sooner or later, and which one of these ones is he going to do it on, and when he does, I'm going to jump on it. And then you get that over-aggressiveness, and you tend to swing at bad pitches.
Yeah, you want to be the guy that ambushes him after he's walked 2 in a row. And be all set for that first easy cookie fastball down the middle. Lowe's got his helmet off out there at second, trying to get a little air.
Well, there's no mistaking the potential of Jonathan Sanchez. Again, he's already thrown a no-hitter. But you just don't know what you're going to get. This guy's had back-to-back quality starts one time this year. And he's got trouble with Kung Fu Panda throwing. Bases loaded. Low to third. Infante to second. Melky Cabrera an infield hit. And they're loaded for Alex Gonzalez.
Pitch away from Melky that he was trying to pull and roll over the top of, but in a good way. Again, Sandoval's range very limited. He catches what's hit to him, but he's not going to get to a lot of balls. And that was a break for Atlanta and gives Alex Gonzalez a chance to do some more damage.
Alex dropped a blooper in for the first hit of the game for the Braves. That came with 2 outs in the first inning. And right now they are just waiting him out, aren't they?
Smart. He's the guy in trouble.
High fly ball left center. Burrow and Torres going back. Torres on the warning track. He'll make the play. 2 runners tag. One of them scores. That's Derek Lowe. And the Braves now lead 3-1.
Tell you guys, this is one of the best innings the Braves have had offensively in a long time, just from a fundamental standpoint. Going back to Ankiel getting a runner over to set up the first run, and now a sac fly.
It's funny at times where little things like that, you know, they kind of, you appreciate them, but they kind of go unnoticed in terms of what it can do sometimes for the morale of your team when you're in the middle of an inning like this. And simple thing like that, moving a guy over, got this whole thing rolling.
Here, grizzled veterans like you and Joe say all the time, got to respect the game.
And you do, and that's part of respecting the game. And you know guys aren't going to get it done every time. I mean, it's just not going to happen. But there's just something about the appreciation that your teammates have when you see a guy in the box and you know he's at least trying to do it.
Trying, yeah. Attempting to do it.
That was why the reception was so warm for Rick Ankiel. Not because it's a 95-degree day, but he did the right thing.
Well, and not just that, even getting down a bunt. You put down a sacrifice bunt, you're going to have guys off the bench proud of you for getting the job done, because that's what was expected.
You know, the first guy you heard, first guy you hear giving Ankiel props was Bobby. You know, I mean, you know, he's a guy that notices it as much or more than anybody, and that's the guy you want to please.
Giants bullpen already in play. Todd Wellemeyer has gotten up and has started to loosen.
He just came off the disabled list beginning of this series.
And Matty, a check of that left hand as the hand came off the bat with that swing. The 35th pitch of the inning is way outside, and Melky Cabrera steals second without a throw.
Number 6 for him on the year. He's only been caught once. Now base hit, scores 2.
And down on strikes is Matt Diaz. But for the second straight game, the Braves have a 3-run inning. They chose to pitch to David Ross, and David made him pay for that. A 2-run homer helped the Braves take a 3-1 lead. And he's got his pitching opponent to start the Giants' third. He did, Tommy, have to run the bases a long time when the Braves were up in the second. What adjustments, if any, will Derek make because of that?
Well, I guess the good side of it is he really didn't have to motor around the bases. It was kind of a base to base and a lot of downtime in between. So, you know, I'm sure more than anything else he didn't like standing out there in the sun, but I don't think he overexerted himself.
A roller to second. Sanchez, an easy out. And a good start in the third inning for Lowe.
This Giants team, the best defensive club in the National League in terms of fewest number of errors. And the Braves are somewhere in the middle of the pack. But it happens so often where a good defensive play like the double play started by Gonzalez and turned by Infante really stirs up the club, gets them fired up coming into the dugout. And maybe that spurred them on there in the bottom of the second inning.
You know, and the flip side of that, too, is you see Derek's out there. He's working fast. He's throwing strikes. These guys are ready to play. You wonder on the ground ball down the third base line in the second inning with all the balls that Sanchez throws and the walks and you just get that feeling as a fielder that here, come on, hurry up. You wonder at what point in time does it happen to these guys where they're just not ready for a ball to be hit to them because they don't think anything's going to happen.
Another ground ball from Lowe. Shades of Tim Hudson last night in the early innings today. Got him for 5 ground ball outs. One of those was a double play.
Yeah, that was one thing I always used to hear from my infielders, Terry Pendleton, Blauser, Lemmer, and those guys. It's like, the quicker you're going, the more you're putting the ball in play, the more guys are ready to go. It's when you're walking around all over the place and it's ball 3, ball 4, things like that. They get on their heels and it's tougher to make plays that way.
Ball outside to Pablo Sandoval.
And we hope that will be the case today.
He was one of those ground ball outs. The first earned by Derek in today's game. His numbers are down. He's a big guy. We talked about the comparison of Sandoval to Prince Fielder. And Pablo yesterday said he's not going to play winter ball this offseason. He's going to stay in San Diego, California, and work out once the season's over, whenever that is for the Giants, and come into spring training next year in peak physical condition.
Probably not a bad plan, provided he follows through on the second part of it, which is to work out.
As he can hit. And is aboard with 2 outs.
Got a couple of guys with odd home road splits, though. Ishikawa last year hit well at home, not on the road. This year it's a flip-flop. Sandoval this year hitting over 300, well over 300 at home. 323 and just 214 on the road.
So Aubrey Huff, the hitter, he lined into a double play his first time. And now lines this ball to deep left. Diaz has room. And the side is retired. Bottom of the third inning. Braves and Derek Lowe lead 3-1. On Fox Sports South, it's brought to you by your Greater Atlanta Hyundai dealers. Make it a Hyundai Sunday every week on Fox Sports South. With Joe Simpson, Braves Hall of Famer Tom Glavine, Chip Carey at the ballpark. And right back into the center of the diamond goes Jonathan Sanchez after a 36-pitch second inning.
Yeah, he's kind of going by the script so far. 4 3-ball counts already through 2 innings.
Scoring change, by the way, gentlemen, on the pop-up that Alex Gonzalez lost in the sun. As Tom suggested, that's rarely called an error, and it's been changed to a base hit for Freddie Sanchez. No error.
I'm not changing it. That's going to mess up my scorecard.
That's what this eraser's for on mine.
Oh, I see. I'm like my kids that go from the 4th grade to the 5th grade where they get to start using pens.
Okay.
So that's kind of where I'm at.
All right.
Yeah, don't change in the middle of the game. It's 3-1 in favor of the Braves.
No.
Oh, wait a minute. Look at the score. Wait a second.
It's scratched. I messed up in the first inning already. So, but I'm not pulling out the whiteout. It's okay. This is just for my own personal use. It's not going on a wall anywhere.
It's not going in the archives.
It's a short. Uribe.
Bring it.
And 1 out. Yeah, what was with Smoltz the other night? Then he broke out the whiteout. Didn't he have?
There's no telling what's going on with him.
No, you can go through a whole jar of whiteout one night.
It's good to see, though. At least, the personality that he was in the clubhouse and in the dugout, he hasn't toned that down at all in the broadcast booth. That's pretty much what he is.
Brooks Conrad doubled past Pablo Sandoval and scored the first Braves run. This one hit well to right, but playable for Aubrey Huff. And friends, you can bring your dog to the game. Bark in the Park is back. That's presented by Frontline and Wag-A-Lot. Sunday, August 29th, the Marlins are in town. Tickets are $25. They include 1 dog ticket and 1 human ticket. For ticket information, log on to braves.com/bark today.
Is the dog ticket a discounted rate, or how does that work?
I think if the picture the night before K's 9, yes.
I like it.
Good one, Chip.
That would be a doggone good deal.
Jim's good one, Chip. Look out, Rick.
I'm going to make an early observation on Mr. Sanchez, and I'm no pitching coach. Seems to me he's got a real issue with his tempo and his timing because of that little leg kick and turn that he's got going. And I think he's going to continue to have a hard time syncing that all up if he doesn't get some movement in his hands. He's got real dead hands, and when you do that, you got your lower body moving and your upper body's kind of standing still. You better have your timing right.
He's taking the ball out of his glove.
Well, it's just he's kind of in a dead hand position once he makes that little leg kick and makes his transfer towards home. And if the lower half goes a little bit faster than the upper half, he's going to have a hard time finding the consistency. I think sometimes you get your hands moving a little bit. It helps you time that up a little bit better.
Different look in the 3rd inning. He retires the Braves in order. Dodge, by Verizon, by Georgia Power, by Geico, and by Honda. Braves enjoy a 3-1 lead. The sweet smell of success so far for Derek Lowe. And he will go to work against the middle of the Giants order. It starts with Pat Burrell, who provides our quote of the day today. It's brought to you by our friends at Geico, and Pat had this to say about Mr. Glavine.
One of the most comfortable 0 for 4s you could have. He had so much deception that you weren't sure what you were swinging at half the time. That's kind of a nice thing to know.
Very nice thing of him to say. I think he's had pretty good success against me too, so I don't know how many comfortable 0 for 4s he had, but
257 average total.
Yeah, so he did struggle against me then. Most of the other guys I would look at before a game is 300, 350, 400. It's like, oh my God, how am I going to beat these guys?
We're being told by the truck that Pat Burrell faced you more than any other pitcher in the major leagues.
Stands to reason, though. Played so many years in Philadelphia and in the same division with Tom, both here and in New York. Another place.
And Derek Lowe just erased him on the inside corner. And Pat not sure about that. First strikeout of the day for Derek Lowe.
Frozen. Fox Tracks agrees with Pat Burrell.
Close enough. It's hot. Keep this thing moving.
There you go.
On Uribe.
That's become a good pitch, though, for Derek, that front door slider. Because he's got such a good one going away from the hitters. They have to respect that. And then the fastball in, when you start it there, they think it's going to hit him.
Driven to right. Melky going back. Still going back. Still going back, and he hauled it in. Even the guys in the bullpen applaud that effort for Melky Cabrera.
You might want to stop and get a drink of water. He ran so far for that one. That ball seemed to really carry. Breeze still blowing in a little bit from right center field.
You know what he did? There's a fan in the bullpen. He stood right in front of the fan after the grab.
Little Manny Ramirez.
See it? Right there.
Oh, yeah. We had a fan. We had a fan here in the booth.
We did?
Yeah, we did.
Oh. What happened?
Stolen, hijacked by another network that's doing the game today down the way.
I mean,
not the Giants.
It's not Mike Krukow and Dwayne Kuiper?
No. They stole our fan.
It wasn't Jim and Don wouldn't steal our fan, would they?
No, not them.
Little ground ball by Ishikawa, and Derek Lowe is ranking up the easy innings, isn't he? 3 up, 3 down, and a 3-1 lead in the fourth. Well, the big blow in the game delivered by the man leading off the Braves' fourth. That's catcher David Ross.
And that means it's time for our air trend. How far did it fly home run? And according to Laser Baker, 392 feet into the left field stands. That's our air trend. How far did it fly home run?
Sanchez, you recall in that at bat, got 2 strikes on low. And Tommy, you said he would be in attack mode, trying to get Ross and then Derek Lowe, who was waiting next. And David hit it a mile and erased a 1-0 deficit.
He attacked him. He just didn't attack him where he was trying to attack him. Made a mistake, and David made him pay.
His first home run of the season. Now an even 20 RBIs. Two balls and a strike. You mentioned the out of sync nature of Sanchez's windup. Were you a pitching coach, what would you suggest he do to fix that delivery issue?
Well, I think the first and only thing I would try with is, like I said, is just get a little bit of movement going with his hands. When he makes that leg kick and starts to bring his leg up, his hands are just kind of sitting there. And if he would just move his hands along with his leg kick just a touch, I think that would do a lot towards helping him get his tempo going towards home plate. Because if you see a lot of times what ends up happening is his legs come through, his front foot goes towards the right-handed batter's box, and then he's trying to get his upper body to go to the left side corner.
How about that swing?
That wasn't as good as the one he had in his other impact.
That was a nasty pitch. And the third strikeout for Sanchez starts his fourth inning. Time now for a money and energy saving bright idea from Georgia Power. Use a programmable thermostat correctly to save money and energy. Go to GeorgiaPower.com for more energy saving tips. Georgia Power, a Southern company. How long in the big leagues were you until you felt completely and totally comfortable with your move to the plate?
Probably, 3 or 4 years, really, where I felt like I could make my own adjustments and had a good idea of what I was trying to do. But then even beyond that, it was a constant tinkering at times with things. You're always trying to figure out if you could do something a little bit more efficiently or a little bit more consistently. And I was, even early in my career, I was a little bit of a dead hand guy, but I had a little bit more, my upper body turned a little bit more than Sanchez's does and synced up a little bit more. But later in my career, I incorporated some more hand movement. See, and I think that's why you see him throw a scud like that every once in a while. It's just, he's got two distinct pieces of his body, his lower body and his upper body, that are not really moving at the same time with each other. And if once he makes that transfer to come back towards home plate, man, if he gets his legs going one way and his upper body's trying to go the other, it's in your mind, you're not right, and you're physically trying to make adjustments on the fly, and it's hard to do.
You started with your hands high, though, right in front of your face.
I did.
Your sign.
See, and you see he makes the turn, and from right there, his hands just, there's not a lot going on right there. And then you see the front foot goes kind of towards the right-handed batter's box.
Is it fair to say his arm drags?
Yeah. What happens when that happens is your lower side gets going and his foot gets going towards home plate, and then his upper body's trying to play catch up. And he knows, especially when he's going away, he knows in his mind that he's trying to get that ball down and away, but because his lower body is always already going towards the right-handed batter's box, now he's trying to get that upper body to go back in the other direction, and it's hard to do it.
Well, I hate to say this, but since you started talking about it, somebody in the clubhouse told him because he set down 6 in a row and he struck out 4 guys.
No, I don't think he's changed his mechanics in it. His tempo is getting a little bit better. But I think, and that's the thing. He's going to fight his tempo. But I think it would be the kind of thing that he could make it less of a fight if he would just sink his upper body a little bit better with his lower half. But it's easy to see from up here.
But it's also one of those things that I've heard you talk about this, and Smoltz and other guys too, about repeating your delivery, being able to be consistent with it. And that may be why some days, like against Colorado, 6 innings, a 3-hit shutout ball, 9 strikeouts, and then other times where he just can't repeat it.
Yeah, it's not that he has bad stuff from one day to the next.
That ball's driven by Omar deep left, and that's going to fly out of here.
Omar likes to hit the ball the other way, but every once in a while he will ambush you. And this will be our Coors Light cold hard blast. 2-out blast into the seats. Up and in, turned on it.
See, same thing like I've been talking about. He's trying to go down and away, can't get there. Ball ends up middle in, and Omar crushes it.
And that gives him an 11-game hitting streak. That's one away from his career high of 12. And the Braves a little more room with which to work, up 4-1 now.
Fox most slow motion camera shows you how he kept his head right on that ball, up and in. Got his hips out of the way, got his hands inside the baseball, and jumped.
And this inning, a microcosm of the career of Sanchez. He made Ross and Lowe swing and miss, missed a spot, and gave up a tape measure home run to Infante. Nice recovery.
Better hurry. Whew. That's the essence of backpedaling right there.
So how does that work right there? If the security guard had gotten to him in time, he kicks him out of the game. Is that how that works?
I think the security people here at Turner Field have very good common sense where that's concerned. Probably would have just helped him back into his seat and said, "Don't do that again, okay?"
Hey, allow for a little gray area. Everything's not black and white.
That's down the right field line, but caught by Huff. Nice play by the Giants right fielder. But Omar Infante cracks his 3rd home run of the season and extends the Braves lead after 4 to 4-1. All-Star, you know.
Not a bad guy to have come off your bench, you know.
An 11-game hit streak for Omar Infante. A solo home run makes it a 4-1 game after 4. Derek Lowe, a guy that has said he doesn't enjoy pitching in the heat and humidity, is just cruising right along now. A run on 4 hits. And the lower portion of the Giants' batting order coming up.
Very economical. Only 51 pitches, and he's in the 5th inning.
Ground ball to Brooks. 1 out.
I want to go back to that home run swing, guys, and from our low first camera, I want to show you something. Right here, Omar's head. If you're going to hit that high and tight pitch, the one thing you can't have happen is for your upper body to go forward a whole lot. You got to stop everything. So Omar's head stops, upper body stops, hits against that firm front side, and then the hands work. Just beautiful. The way he allowed everything else to do the damage instead of letting his upper body get out there in front.
It's exactly how I used to go after an inside pitch.
I remember.
Right? Everything looked exactly like that until I started to swing, and then I hit everything to left field.
Well, there was a story that I didn't tell Friday.
Another chance at third.
We were running short on time, and I made sure that Bobby Cox didn't get to speak. But there was there was a story about you that people often fought for tickets up there in the what was then the Lexus level, now the Casino Moon level, because you just peppered that section with souvenirs.
I used to cringe looking over that third base dugout if there was any kids over there, because I knew at least one at bat I was going to hit a screaming rocket over the dugout. You know, and just always afraid I was going to kill somebody. But it was funny. I think the first time I played against Blauser when he was with the Cubs, he was about 3 feet from standing behind the third baseman. When I came up to bat, I was like, Blaus, what are you doing? He just... Speaking of pitchers, huh?
Yeah. Matt Cain pinch hitting.
Giants have a short bench, don't they? They only have 4 guys on their bench. So in the middle innings, rather than burn a pinch hitter now, might want to save a guy for the 7th, 8th, or 9th inning. And so it is Cain batting with 2 outs for San Francisco.
See, now Cain is going to make the argument that he's the best hitting pitcher because he's pinch hitting right here. But if I'm looking up there as the other pitchers and he's hitting 0.95, and he's the guy that came off the bench, if I'm Barry Zito or Lincecum, I'm saying clearly it's too early in the game to use our best pitch hitting pitcher. We have to save that guy for later in the game.
Yeah, you might want to run down to Bochy and break out the stat sheet. Zito hitting 139, Lincecum no 0.94. Had a big argument.
Derek Lowe has his 2nd strikeout and has set down 7 straight Giants.
Jason Hayward and your Braves stay hot in Houston. Braves, Astros. The series starts tomorrow at 7:30, and it's only on Sports South.
Yeah, we'll be headed down to Minute Maid Park after the ball game this afternoon. And we will feast our eyes on the Houston Astros, a club very busy at the trading deadline. And our AirTrain Airways upcoming road schedule features these pitching matchups.
Can't wait to see Mike Minor make his debut tomorrow night against Bud Norris. Then we got JJ against J Happ. We'll be tongue-tied that night, Chip. Again.
I was going to say, don't need that matchup to have that problem.
No.
As we look at Todd Wellemeyer, the new Giants pitcher, on for inning number 5. It's kind of funny how the baseball circle of life, as it were, works its magic. Braves have the wonderful celebration for Tommy here this weekend. Now their number 1 pick gets to make his big league debut tomorrow, as Alex Gonzalez greets Wellemeyer rudely. He's got a 2-hit day working. Tommy, I know you saw Mike Minor a lot in the minor leagues here in 2010. Tell us about him.
Yeah, I tell you what, I think people are going to like this kid. Another of the many quality arms that the Braves organization has, and had an opportunity to see him earlier this spring up in Chattanooga, and I'll tell you what, there's a lot to like about this kid. Good stuff. 92, 94 on his fastball, good curveball, good changeup, but another one of these young kids that at an early age really has a good idea what he's trying to do out there.
I loved what he said today to Jerome in Braves Live about how fortunate he was that the Braves brought him in a few days early so that he could concentrate on getting ready for his start and not about what am I supposed to wear, where am I supposed to sit on the plane, where's my locker, all those things. It allowed him a chance to settle in, and I think that's a very good idea.
No, it is a good idea, and there are some guys that maybe that chaos is a good thing because they're not having to think about what they're going to do and how they're going to pitch and all that stuff. But I think the way Mike operates, it's a good opportunity for him to sit down, slow down, get a sense for how things are done, and then he can focus on his pitching.
Is there one pitch in particular that really stood out for you in watching him work in the minor leagues? And if so, what should we look for?
Well, like I said, good fastball, 92, 94, that he locates really well. The night I saw him pitch, really good curveball. Struggled a little bit with the command on his changeup, which I know is one of his good pitches as well. But it goes to show you that his maturity level already is that he recognized on that given night that his curveball was his better pitch, and he went to it more. But, I think that, look, early, like so many kids that come up, and I was guilty of it, and so many other guys are too, the big thing for him is just going to be to focus on what he did well at AA and AAA, and those are the things that he's going to have to do well up here and fight the notion that, well, I made another jump, I need to be even better or even sharper or throw even harder.
Well, he's going to face a different-looking Houston ball club, one that won't have Lance Berkman in it. They've got a lot of young players, too. Maybe those are guys that Mike had a chance to see in the minor leagues, so it won't be totally unfamiliar for him.
They could be, and that might add to his comfort level, hopefully, that he's not standing up there facing a lineup full of, the Berkmans and all those guys that, you're so accustomed to seeing in Astros uniforms. It'll be an interesting scouting report for those guys to go over. A lot of new faces, like you said.
And Diaz rolls one foul. Talked with Frank Wren about Mike Minor yesterday. Mike has had a very accomplished college career, as you know, pitched for Team USA. I was on a team that had Mike Leake of the Reds and had Steven Strasburg, who's now with the Nationals. And Frank told me that Mike Minor was the ace of that staff.
Well, if that's true, then he was doing something special.
Little fly ball into right center field will drop for a clean single. And so far, Todd Wellemeyer, 2 hitters faced, 2 base hits allowed.
Just back from the disabled list where he had a strained right quadricep muscle. He tried a little front door slider, didn't work, and a Ric Flair to right was the result.
Woo!
Plus, you got some good guys to have tutor him at AA and AAA, and Marty Reed, the pitching coach at Mississippi, and Derek Patello at Gwinnett. I was told that in in spring training, one of the things Roger McDowell was trying to get Mike to do is maybe get away from his slider and stay more with the curveball, but he was a little reluctant to give up the slider altogether until he struggled some in Double-A with it.
Yeah, I mean, that's a hard thing to do. I mean, it's when you've been accustomed to pitching with a certain amount of pitches, it's really strange in your mind to think, okay, well, now I'm going to cut back and I'm going to shorten my repertoire. You know, but I think that's what happens a lot of times from young guys to veterans right on through is sometimes you end up having two mediocre ones, and if you focus more on just one, you end up turning that one into a really good one versus constantly fighting between the two. I know that was something I always struggled with. I fought between the two pitches, and as a result, they were both just mediocre.
Well, and sometimes, too, I think with a young player, whether you're a pitcher or a hitter, if you're getting something foreign thrown at you that you're not really receptive to, it depends on your level of success. If he struggled the first few starts in Double-A like he did, then all of a sudden, well, maybe that wasn't such a bad idea after all.
Yes, absolutely.
So Minor and Norris tomorrow night. First pitch 8:05 Eastern time as we'll move into the Central Time Zone. And the Braves today gotten a couple of home runs, play good solid fundamental offensive baseball, and are rewarded with a 4-1 lead. Chased Jonathan Sanchez and are 2 for 2 against Todd Wellemeyer. And they're 3 for 3. Gloss goes the other way. And the bases are loaded with nobody out.
Braves were 3 for 18 with runners in scoring position in this series coming in. That was in 3 games against the Giants. Today they already have 3 hits with runners in scoring position. 3 for 6 overall. This one doesn't get a run in, but it sets up Brooks Conrad in a situation that he really loves, and that's with the bases loaded.
Good to see Troy take the ball the other way. Braves now with 8 hits.
Something Troy and Terry Pendleton worked hard on yesterday before the game, and it paid off.
That's something that you could speak of, Joe. But what happens, every time a guy goes into a slump, the first thing they start working on is they get in the cage and they work on taking the ball the other way. What happens in your mindset that when you become successul or you're hitting the ball good or whatever, that you get away from doing that? What causes that?
Well, I wasn't anywhere close to being a power hitter, but I think those guys, when they're going good, that's what's first in their mind is driving the ball. So they start thinking a little bit more about spinning on that back leg and trying to lift and drive the ball out of the ballpark as opposed to having good plate coverage. So when you get into a real dry spell, it's like, oh, I got to get back to some basics, and all of a sudden it feels a little foreign and it's slow to come back.
2 quick strikes to Brooks Conrad, who's doubled and scored today. Whiteside a nice stop.
And it goes to a guy seeing the ball well, like Troy was in May, especially when he was the player of the month. He addressed the fact that he said the difference between April and May was he was getting his front foot down a little sooner, allowing his hands to work, made him quicker. And all of a sudden, when that goes away, they're going to find some holes away, as you know, because you're not hitting the ball to the opposite field at all.
Base hit the other way by Conrad. And the merry-go-round continues. It's 5-1. Diaz to third, Gloss to second. Brooks Conrad's 21st run batted in.
Tommy, this got to be a little demoralizing. He got ahead of him, and then he makes a really good pitch here.
Yeah, and it's 2 hitters in a row. I mean, the pitch that, as we were talking about, the base hit that Troy got to right field, that was a pitch that was off the plate. Troy got good plate coverage on it and drove it into right field. And same thing here with Brooks. I wonder if there's something in the scouting report that these guys facing him aren't too concerned about the inside part of the plate, because they don't seem to be.
Little ERA punishment for Todd Wellemeyer. He faces 4 hitters. He gives up 4 hits, 1 run so far. And Santiago Casilla is on for the Giants.
Who used to be known as.
AFC by Blimpie, by Acura, and by AT&T. Well, the Braves are playing a real good game at the plate today. 5 runs on 9 hits. They've got them loaded. They've chased Sanchez. They've chased Wellemeyer. And now they got a big, hard-throwing right-hander to face in this bottom of the 5th.
Well, one of the reasons they only have 4 guys on their bench is because they've got about 19 guys in their bullpen. And this is one of them. They won't run out of arms today. And he pitched last night, and he can throw hard. And if you were with us last night, you might have heard us talking about how he pitched from 2000 to 2005 in the minor leagues under the name of Jairo Garcia. He's now Santiago Casilla. And it appears that Santiago's a lot better pitcher than Jairo was.
Jairo didn't have any outs in him?
No.
So Rick Ankiel will face him. Rick 0 for 2. May sound funny to say, but on a day where the Braves have scored 5 times, a little ground ball out by Ankiel in the second, which will be the biggest play of this game. A little pop-up. No man's land in left. Burrow, though, takes over. 1 out. Rink was able to advance Brooks Conrad to third in the second inning. A home run, a couple of walks, an infield hit, and a sac fly later. The Braves turned the game into their favor.
And like we talked about at the time, it's the boost that gives your team of doing a little thing right, and then the flip side of it that kind of maybe goes unnoticed. Sanchez is in a much different situation with 1 out and a runner on third than he is with 1 out and a runner on second. And as we alluded to with David Ross at the plate, with 2 strikes, he went into the strikeout mode thinking, I'm going to get out of this inning, and he made a mistake and gave up a 2-run home run. If Ankiel doesn't get that guy over to second base, I don't know that he has that mindset.
So base is still loaded for David. There is 1 out.
If you weren't with us, here is that home run, 392 feet. The target was outside, the pitch was delivered inside, and Ross golfed it out. His first homer of the year.
If you haven't been with us every day, shame on you, first of all. But secondly, you missed the news a couple of weeks ago. David signed to a contract extension that'll take him through the 2012 season.
How blessed have the Braves been with not just good catching, but good backup catching, too, through the years?
It's a rare commodity, but boy, when you have it, you're in an advantage.
Yeah, a couple of them are in the ballpark today. We have Eddie Perez in the Braves bullpen, but Joe, you had a chance to chat with another one in Bobby's office today.
Yeah, Charlie O'Brien's here today, too. Part of the Braves alumni session out in center field. Good to see Charlie.
I never realized how strong he is. You go to shake his hand. As Ross grounds to first. Ishikawa, beautiful pickup. Gets the force play for the second out.
That's the dreaded play in spring training that you work on as a pitcher, and you're always worried you're going to get decapitated.
Just tomahawked, huh?
Ground ball to the right side with the bases loaded, and your instinct is to go to first, and that first baseman is wheeling it home, and he almost took one right in the coconut.
Spinning and blindly firing, yeah.
He reacted too, did Casilla, like that ball was coming back at him.
Yeah, he did.
I don't think he ever saw it off the bat.
Well, I guarantee you he wouldn't have seen that throw if he hadn't have ducked. I mean, it would have been lights out.
So 2 outs for Derek Lowe. And Sid Bream and Gaylord Perry also at the ballpark today for the Alumni Sundays. We hope you'll join us here next weekend when the Dodgers come in.
If Todd Wellemeyer goes to the clubhouse, having given him 5 hits and recorded no outs and only 1 run scored, he got some serious help from Mr. Casilla.
Yeah, you better shake his hand and give him a pat on the back.
4 hits, I guess it was, but 4 in a row. Swing hard, Derek, you never know.
Yeah, he needs to either strike out or hit a home run. He doesn't need to be running the bases.
Nope.
2-2. Braves 2 games up on the Phillies. Phillies battling New York today. It's a much closer game. Roy Halladay starting for the Phillies. They had a big lead. I think the Mets have trimmed that just a bit. We'll update that for you in just a bit. And Derek Lowe sprays one to right, and a diving play by Huff. And that retires the side. Well, all in all, that could have been a whole lot worse for San Francisco. The Braves pick up a run, 4 hits, and a fine diving catch sends this game to the 6th. Braves beating them 5-1 in the final game of this 4-game series. And Joe, we need a little help from the bullpen, as it were, with our AT&T Uverse trivia question. Let's see if Tommy can help us out. The question today: Brian Wilson, one of 3 Giants pitchers with a 40-save season. Who are the other 2 that have done that?
Gosh, what was his name?
I got one.
The right-hander, Rod Beck, and who was the other right-hander they had that used to stub his foot?
Nen.
Oh, Rob Nen?
Rob Nen. That'd be my 2 guesses.
I like it. Joe Nathan was a Giant, but I don't think he was a closer till he went to Minnesota. But thanks, Dave. We'll call you. Don't call us. Oh, what was that?
Yeah, Rod Beck, the shooter. Andres Torres takes a strike. First 2 games of the series, Torres was all over the place. Braves held him to 0 for 4 last night. He's 0 for 1 today. Drives this one into the left field corner. And off the base of the wall, Torres doubles to start the inning.
You had to mention it, didn't you? Was that your broadcasting ethic duty or something? You had to mention that? Is that how that goes?
He did that last night to Hudson. Ruined his no-hitter.
Oh, I never said he had a no-hitter.
Pretty good pitch from Derek that turned into a double, thanks to Chip.
Love you guys. Here's Sandoval.
Hey, well, that's between these 2 teams. That's some pretty good hits to the opposite field in these last inning. Some pretty good pitches too.
Uh-oh. What Derek just do? Threw that pitch, and then he kind of reached back and grabbed the back of his right leg.
David Ross spotted that and asked if he was all right.
He's grabbing it again. He must be cramping up. This is 2 pitches ago. The way he picked it up made me think of cramping.
Bobby's coming out.
Now, this happened to a Braves pitcher earlier this year. Remember, Takashi Saito was injured. He injured a hamstring and tried to continue on and was unable to do so. And Bobby's already got the lineup card out. And Jim Lovell, Braves certified athletic trainer, out to find out exactly what the problem is.
Well, the good news would be if it was a cramp.
Well, he grabbed it after the 1 pitch, then he grabbed it again, which to me just seemed like an indication that he was cramping. And he ran hard to first on that line drive that Huff caught. Braves have already lost 1 starter. They can ill afford to lose another.
So we'll keep an eye on Lowe. Nobody up in the pen. And a 1-1 count. Broken bat off the glove of Gloss. Lowe to the bag is late. Ball dropped. Torres on his way home will score without a play. 5-2 game. And when you're cramping up, just what you don't want to see is having to sprint to the bag on a close play by Derek Lowe.
Yeah, I got to be honest with you. I could care less that guy saved the first and that run scored. I'm happy that Derek's not laying on the ground holding his hammy right now. That's the last thing you want to see him have to do.
A double error on that play. E3 on Gloss, and then E4 on the throw to first that allowed Torres to score.
Yeah, Torres was not even going to try to come home until the ball got away from Derek. Crazy play. And all of a sudden it's a 3-run game, and while everything was all fun and giggles there for a while with bases loaded, nobody out in the 5th, the Braves only got 1 run. Might have been nice to get a couple more just to have the Giants take the rest of the day off, and they're not.
And with that play, Joe, the Braves pen starts to work. You got 20 home run man Aubrey Huff thinking about making it a 1-run game right here.
Got another no-hitter involving the Tampa Bay Rays going on today. This time another one being thrown at them by Brendan Morrow of the Blue Jays, and he's up to how many strikeouts through 8?
16.
He's thrown 115 pitches through 8.
That's pretty remarkable. 16 punch-outs and only 115 pitches.
That's pretty good.
I guess you can do that if you don't give up any hits.
Slow roller. Left side. Alex gets his man, 1 out. Sandoval to second. How about that kid J.P. Arancibia, their catcher in Toronto? What a debut he had. Went 4 for 5 in his first big league game. Hit the first pitch he saw for a home run, 1 of 2 yesterday. The Jays bombarded Tampa Bay and hit 8 home runs up at Skydome. And with that first out in the 6th inning, it appears the day will be done for Derek Lowe.
Well, whatever was troubling him, cramp or otherwise, you know Bobby doesn't want to take a lot of chances here, especially on a hot day.
There it goes. 5 innings and a third, is in line for his 11th win. But a ways to go in Atlanta. 5-2 your score. Trainer, he departs with the lead after 5 innings and a third on a blistering hot day on the field. Heat index around 108. And after that bang bang play at first, we'll take a look at our AT&T call to the bullpen, and we'll look at the numbers of right-hander Peter Moylan.
I don't know about you guys, that shot of Derek in the dugout looked like he was used up from the Heat today. Peter got a night off, as did everybody else in the bullpen except Billy Wagner last night. And he'd like to bounce back from a very rough outing a couple of days ago against the Giants. An inning and 2/3, and he walked 4 batters and took the loss in that 11-inning game on Friday.
Pat Burrell, the batter. Pat 1 for 2 today. remember, Pat started the year with the Tampa Bay Rays. They were looking for a right-handed DH in the American League East, and it did not work out well at all for Burrow. He hit .202. And he pops this one up. Gloss and Ross. Troy makes the play.
Maybe he got tired of getting no hit and wanted to get out of there.
I don't blame him.
Nice play by Troy there to take that away from David Ross. That was going to be a hard play for the catcher.
Phillies lead over the Mets now 1 run. 6-5 in the 7th. Brendan Morrow still working on his no-hit bid in Toronto. Ground ball to short. Alex makes the play, and Peter Moylan restores order. Very easy inning for Moylan, just 3 pitches.
For the Coors Light freeze cam, Braves got on the board with a 2-run homer by David Ross back in the 2nd inning. And how about these pictures for you? Big drive on the fastball down and in. His first homer of the year, but take a look at that. Great extension, head down. And his first homer of the year was a big one. Coors Light freeze cam brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light.
So home half the 6th inning now. Omar Infante will start it off. Omar extended his hitting streak to 11 games. A 4th inning, 2-out, solo home run.
Just getting the rundown on Derek Lowe's outing. And I'm going to suggest, Tom, that, I mean, if this score holds, the Braves win, it's certainly not a bad thing that Derek only went 5 1/3, especially with the bullpen rested. But at this time of year, for a guy 37 years old, he only had to throw 68 pitches, rather. That's a good thing.
No, absolutely it is, and especially as we were talking off air, if the rotation goes according to plan, he's going to have another day game on Saturday of this week. So yeah, I mean, at his age, not a bad thing.
Omar smacks this one to right. And one man is retired. We understand Brendan Morrow's no-hit bid came to an end on an infield hit with 2 outs in the 9th inning in Toronto.
Jim Joyce had nothing to do with it.
exciting times for Blue Jays fans this weekend, the last couple of games.
Now they got to worry about winning. Tampa Bay has them on the corners with 2 out, and Toronto only leading 1-0.
Melky Cabrera, an infield hit and a stolen base in his 3 trips today. Ball, 1 strike. We're off to Houston next. Look at the Astros, who obviously traded Lance Berkman. They traded Roy Oswalt. And a club that's passed the Cubs in the Central.
They're playing their best ball of the year right now. They're about to catch the Brewers, weren't they? About a game back of Milwaukee for 3rd. It's distance now. Houston's lost 3 in a row now, so they're 4 back.
Brad Mills in his first year as the Astros manager, longtime bench coach for Terry Francona and the Red Sox. And a thing of beauty by Melky Cabrera, a little 60-degree wedge to left. I know you appreciate that swing right there, don't you? I mean, that's
beautiful. As the opposing pitcher, I wouldn't appreciate it. But when he's on your side, that's a beautiful thing.
Right off the plate. Melky could put some funny swings on it and come out looking real good.
So he has a 2-hit game, and he'll have a 5-game hitting streak working.
It can be a little irritating when the outfielders pick up your base hit with their bare hand. It's a little disturbing. But it's a base knock. Double digits for the Braves today. 10 hits.
We've got 3 guys with multi-hit games today. That's something else we haven't been able to say in a long time.
And especially since Martin went on the disabled list.
And Alex is one of those men. He's 2 for 2 with a run and an RBI. Another run or 2 wouldn't be a bad idea.
Alex has had a good series. 4 for 11, 2 homers. Crowd's getting so loud here for Bobby that he's got to make an adjustment.
Up the middle. And that is a double play. On we go to inning number 7. Braves still in the lead, 5-2. invite you to join us as platinum recording artist and country music sensation Montgomery Gentry will perform a free post-game concert at Turner Field, presented by Delta Airlines and Coca-Cola. That's after the Braves and Cardinals play Saturday, September 11th. For tickets, visit Braves.com/Montgomery Gentry or call 800-745-3000.
If it's anything like the concert last night, it'll be a big hit. Huge crowd yesterday, over 47,000, and most of those folks stuck around for the Sarah Evans concert.
So the Cardinals, a Saturday game at the ballpark in Montgomery Gentry after the ball game. Braves have drawn real well this year too, with that third largest home crowd of the year last night. The Braves now over the 1.6 million mark in attendance. They'll have, I'm guessing, 35 or 40,000 more here today. Fly ball by Ishikawa, and Keel broke in, now charges back and won't have a play. It's a long solo home run by first baseman Travis Ishikawa, and all of a sudden this game a little too close for comfort.
There's a couple things on that play you don't normally see. Number one, you don't see Peter Moylan give up many home runs, and you don't generally see your outfielder break in on the ball, and then the ball ends up in the seats. That was a weird looking play.
Yeah, it looked like he hit it straight up. Straight up and out.
So Peter Moylan, who didn't give up a home run for a year and a half, has surrendered 4 in total. And of those 4, one of them an inside the park job in Arizona.
He's getting them out of his system. It's all right.
That inside the Parker was on the collision between McLeod and Hayward.
So a run in, nobody out, Giants 7th. And Sanchez off stride. Pops to short. Back to our AT&T Uverse trivia question today. Brian Wilson is the San Francisco closer. He's one of 3 relief pitchers in Giants history with a 40-save season or better. I think you guys hit it out of the park, naming the other 2.
We went with Beck and Nen. Ho-hum.
When do hard questions start?
I was going to say, next Sunday when I'm here, could we come up with something a little bit more difficult?
Wow.
Eli Whiteside hit by the first pitch. And remember, San Francisco playing with a short bench batted Matt Cain earlier in this game to save guys like Nate Shearholtz for the late innings with a chance to tie the game or put San Francisco in front. And Nate Shearholtz is announced as a pinch hitter, and Peter Moylan is coming out of this 7th inning. 1 in, 1 on, 1 out, and a little too close for comfort. It's now a 5-3 Braves lead. Hyundai dealers. Make it a Hyundai Sunday every week on Fox Sports South. Peter Moylan departs after allowing a leadoff home run to Travis Ishikawa here in the 7th inning. And another AT&T call to the bullpen features another very busy fellow out of the pen, left-hander Johnny Venters.
Got a much-needed day of rest yesterday, but he's been in a lot of games.
Now Venters came on because I'm assuming Nate Shearholtz was announced. As soon as Venters came in, Bruce Bochy takes him down and brings on Aaron Rowan.
And when you only have 4 guys on your bench, that's a costly move. It's the 20th game for Venters out of the last 28. I asked him yesterday how he was feeling. He said, good, real good. So the usual, August aches and pains, but nothing serious at all. Said he feels good.
Line drive into right field by Rowan. And now the Giants have the tying runners on, and now the top of the order is coming up. And it's Andres Torres who's doubled and scored today.
And a much better hitter left-handed than right. Hitting 100 points higher left-handed.
Boy, you'd hate to think of all the good work the Braves have done today that fateful 5th. 4 straight hits and 1 run came across. The Giants have scored the last 2 runs in this game to make it a 5-3 score. And ball 1.
Billy Wagner has said that this guy, Tom, is unlike anybody he's ever seen before because he throws so hard and still has just tremendous sinking action.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I hadn't really seen much of Johnny before the season started, obviously, but what I heard people talk about him, it was always that sinker, that movement on his sinker. And yeah, when you got a guy that's throwing this hard, you don't typically see that kind of movement with this kind of velocity.
Nice stop. 95 in the dirt and sinking, and a good play by David Ross to keep the runners at first and second. That was not an easy one.
Giants have hit into 112 double plays. Oh, for another one here from Torres.
Okay.
Thank you. 1, 2. Time to stretch.
Nice going, Chip.
It works the other way too, pal. 5-3 your score.
behind-the-scenes access and special features on your Atlanta Braves. Keep it here for Braves Live, coming up after the game.
It's Timothy Miller from the Atlanta Opera with God Bless America here on a hot day in Atlanta. Braves are a little closer than they were before in terms of their lead. They lead the Giants 5-3, and our Toyota Tacoma plays of the game have helped them get out of some tough jams, including this line drive double play in the first inning, hit into by Aubrey Huff. In the second inning, how about this double play? Watch this. Alex Gonzalez with a quick glove flip over to Omar for the DP. And just now, as the Giants were threatening to perhaps tie the game up, a nifty 6-4-3 double play again. Johnny Venners helps Peter Moylan get out of that inning. So some terrific double plays again turned by the Braves against the Giants. 3 today.
And so the offense goes back to work, leading by that 5-3 score. Diaz, Gloss, and Conrad are scheduled to hit. Braves now 6 outs away from taking 3 out of 4 from San Francisco. So with the Braves coming up in the 7th, let's enjoy today's in-game box score that's presented by Mass Mutual.
Omar's hitting 11 straight now, thanks to his home run. And everybody with a hit in the lineup except Rick Ankiel. But as you said, Chip, maybe he had the biggest at bat of the day, just moving a runner over from second to third after a leadoff double.
So Matt Diaz is set to go to work. And the Giants' couple of changes now as the Braves come up. Aaron Rowan will stay in the game and play center. And the Giants call upon Ramon Ramirez. Boy, the first batters are feasting, are they not, against the bullpens in this game?
Well, you know Matt's going to go up there hacking no matter who's on the mound. Just a little off the plate. That's certainly reachable for Matt.
Yeah, if you're going to expand the zone on Matt, you got to go a little further than that.
Yeah, and probably a little higher, helmet high. I don't know about you guys, but it's fine with me that they took Torres out of the ball game too.
He's been a pest this whole series. Well, Troy Gloss, the batter. Troy 1 for 3 today. That hit came in that flurry of 4 in a row 2 innings ago. Tommy, do you remember a time where there's been this much power out of almost every team's bullpen in Major League Baseball?
No, I really don't. I mean, there's just arm after arm after arm that comes out of that bullpen. I mean, you don't even notice a guy anymore if he's not, if he's throwing 90, 91, 92.
Diaz got a great jump. Whiteside's throw is into center field. Matty pops up. Rowan's throw will be late.
Big play.
Third steal for Diaz, a throwing error for Whiteside.
His primary concern here is just get into second base safely. Takes you a second to recover when the ball gets by to realize you might have a chance to go to third, and then it's a split-second decision to make that call. And he's got to get right up off his pockets to do that. So good hustle by him. If they can get that run in, that's a huge play.
Loss with 2 strikes and nobody out.
Wow, Whiteside very fortunate there. I don't know if that hit his shin guard or the umpire's, but it didn't look like he got much leather on it. Hit his foot, kept it from going to the backstop.
Another one through the wickets, but not far enough. 2-2. Toronto, by the way, did hold on and win that game 1-0 over Tampa Bay. That's still down a run to the Phillies late at Citizens Bank Park. Braves lead the division by 2 over the Phillies.
Giants go home today after the game and have another 4-game series with the Cubs. And then the Padres come in and play the Giants in a huge series for 3 games. And then the Giants have to come right back to the East Coast to start another killer road trip. 3 at Philadelphia, 3 at St. Louis.
And if the Giants want to win the West, they got to do a better job against the Padres. And Troy knew that was a strike. Good pitch from Ramirez for the first out.
Williams painting the corners, and it looked like he did.
Good pitch, particularly, you know, sometimes the psyche of a bad pitch can be a good thing. The pitch before that, he tried to throw a fastball down and away, strike him out. Missed on the complete other side of the plate, but it served the purpose of pushing Troy off the plate and get him a little bit conscious inside, and then he drops that little slider on him. I guarantee you, had he not seen that pitch inside and become a little bit more honest, I think he's on that pitch a little bit more.
Balls and a strike to Brooks Conrad, snapped out of an 0-for-11 slide with a 2-hit day today, including an RBI single in the 5th.
And they do pull their infield all the way in, at least on the left side. Sanchez kind of gets a running start at it.
Oh, he jumped on that pitch. Wow.
That was 95, and he hooked it 2 sections foul. Brooks can handle that. I have a feeling he's going to get another pitch like he got on the first pitch, though. Something hard sinking away from him. Matt's got to be heads up here at third base. We've already seen 2 balls get under Whiteside's glove. Neither one far enough for him to score, but with Ramirez throwing that hard sinker, it could happen again. Got to have that walking lead from third.
That is a huge run 90 feet away. A 5-3 Braves game.
Good changeup.
Good changeup at 90 miles an hour.
Yeah, it was.
Don't you wish?
You know what? I don't, because I wouldn't have known what to do with it anyway.
Just think if you'd had one of those curly necklaces, what you could have done.
Well, that's probably the thing. I mean.
He has one. I've seen it.
Yeah.
He just never liked to pitch with it.
I think I wore one of those things one time when I pitched, and I didn't make it past the second inning.
And how long did it last?
It never made an appearance on the mound again.
Too much power.
Because clearly it was the necklace's fault, not mine.
I had bats like that.
Yeah, it's too much power. That was my kryptonite. I had too much power. Too strong was not a good thing for me.
Sinker. And 2 out.
That one never got above his shin guard. And after making a mistake with that fastball that he hooked into the seats, he made some pretty tough pitches.
Official word from the Braves training room. Derek Lowe did leave with cramping in his right hamstring. But he did pitch deep enough into the game to qualify for the win. 5-3, 2 outs for Ankiel. Braves fan Joanne Payne celebrating a birthday today, watching us in Sky Lake, Georgia. Hoping Ankiel can add an insurance run. Major league pop-up. This one might be a tough play. Sanchez called off by Uribe. And that retires the side. Matt Diaz left stranded 90 feet away on a sun-splashed Atlanta afternoon. We head to the 8th inning, and fellas, let's take a look at today's Blimpie game summary.
Sanchez used up a lot of pitches. Braves capitalized on a big inning in the second. Derek Lowe pitched very effectively till the sun got to him too, and reports were that he cramped up, his right hamstring cramped on him. But only one walk for Derek, and that was the first batter of the ball game. 68 pitches.
New defensive alignment in the Braves outfield. Melky Cabrera moves from right to left. Jason Hayward into the game. And Pablo Sandoval versus Johnny Venters. Johnny got Torres to hit into an inning-ending double play an inning ago. Now he's got the 2, 3, 4 hitters to face. And nobody up in the pen. His inning.
It's another side note potentially to Huddy's start again last night with Derek coming out of the game early today. And you got the uncertainty of Mike Minor going tomorrow. Did a lot to rest that bullpen so you can use these guys in back-to-back days if you have to.
Seems to me you made your major league debut in Houston too, did you not?
I did. I hope Mike's goes a little bit better than mine. But the rest of it is just as good.
Yeah, me too. I also recall that while you might have struggled against Houston early in your career, that turned around to your favor too.
Yeah, it did.
Another ground ball from Venters. One out. It was a tough facing the Astros going from the Dome into then Enron Field, now Minute Maid Park.
You know, they were tough for different reasons. The Dome, the Dome was a great pitcher's ballpark, so it was good to pitch, but it was loud. And when they had that place was full and those people were loud, I mean, you couldn't hear each other on the infield talking. The other ballpark not as loud, but certainly not anywhere near as friendly a place to pitch as the Astrodome was. You know, you saw Jim Deshaies make a living in the Astrodome. Here, hit a fly ball to center field, because most of the time you're not going to be able to hit it out of there.
That's what Don talked about pitching there too when he actually pitched for the Astros, was just keep it between the gaps.
Yep.
And throw high fastballs and here, hit as far as you want.
Yeah, and the new ballpark is a very similar style with that cavernous center field and the hill out there in center field. That's kind of where you want them to hit the ball, but you don't get away with too many mistakes from gap to foul line in that new place.
Aubrey Huff, the hitter for the Giants. And back our way foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Speaking of Don, 26 years ago today, Don Sutton beat the Royals and topped 100 strikeouts for the season. 19 straight years. Sutton struck out 100 or more. That was a major league record at the time. And Huff stays alive. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Not to harp on your first start, Tommy, but 4 innings, 10 hits. There was some runs in there. 5 walks and a strikeout. Who was your first strikeout? Remember?
I don't remember.
Laser Baker's on.
What year was it?
87.
Jose Cruz, I guess.
I want to say maybe, I don't know, Glenn Davis or Billy Hatcher or Billy Doran. One of those.
I was going to say maybe Ken Forsch.
No, I pitched against Mike Scott that game.
Mike Scott then.
That was kind of the thing that, above all else, really made me realize that I was in the big leagues. You know, I had the nervousness of everything going on, the first game and all that stuff. But my first at bat, when I got on the batter's box and he threw a couple fastballs in there, they were kind of like, oh my God, throw a little harder here.
How about that breaking ball, and Huff couldn't pull the trigger.
That was a beauty. Aubrey had a great at bat, fought off some real tough pitches, and then just a foul locker here.
I'm wondering if is he questioning whether or not it was a strike, or was it down the middle, as much down the middle as it looked like?
Like a good pitch to me.
Yeah, it's got strike zone all day long.
So another job well done by a man I think should be in the Rookie of the Year chase. Johnny Venters allows only 1 hit this afternoon. An inning and a third of 1 hit, 1 strikeout relief. And he will give way to big right-hander Kyle Farnsworth. I'll tell you about Kyle's here in a moment. First, guarantee yourself Braves postseason tickets when you buy a 2010 prorated season ticket plan, starting at only $6 a ticket. Be at Turner Field for the race to the pennant and secure your postseason seats today. To order, visit Braves.com/tickets or call 404-577-9100. And a strike from the man summoned on our AT&T call to the bullpen.
Burrell is 2 for 8 against Farnsworth in his career with a double. That's combined between Kansas City and Atlanta. What was that?
Farnsworth was originally a 44th round pick by the Cubs. And he just carved up Pat Burrell. Boy, a bucket full of sliders from the Farns sends this game to the bottom of the 8th.
I know that. Where is he? AAA?
Yes, yeah. Lead 5-3 after 7.5 innings. Today's Braves broadcast on Fox Sports South, presented in beautiful high definition by H.H. Gregg. David Ross will start it off against right-hander Chris Ray.
This guy's all elbows and kneecaps coming at you. It's like he's trying to... What was that line from Talladega Nights? Magic Man. He's trying to Magic Man you and then throw the ball.
Make you see everything but the baseball.
Worked an inning here a couple of nights ago, and the game the Giants won. Gave up a hit, recorded a strikeout.
1 ball, 1 strike. David Ross's first home run of the year gave the Braves a lead they have not relinquished today. Giants led this one 1-0 in the second. A 2-run shot by Ross made it 2-1. It's now 5-3.
He's just such a valuable part of this ball club, and it's so rewarding to David and players like David when they do get a start to do something to put you in a position to win or do something to help you win. Braves are 3 outs from that.
He usually does. And like I said, that's why it makes you so surprised that was his first home run of the year.
It's kind of like at the end of the season in spring training when you're getting ready to do the 2010 season, and I'm looking at his numbers. I would have sworn he hit 12 to 15 home runs. It just seemed like he hit a bunch, and I think it was 8. But they were all big blows.
I want to welcome the uniformed personnel of the Philadelphia Phillies to our broadcast this afternoon. They've finished off the Mets today 6-5 at Citizens Bank Park. Roy Halladay won his 14th game of the year. So the Braves a game and a half in front of Philadelphia pending the outcome of this one against the Giants.
Guess he had a long rain delay down in Florida. No surprise there, but they're just now underway. St. Louis against the Marlins. They were supposed to start when we started.
Nothing better on getaway day.
Yeah.
Yeah, only time in for the Cardinals. They got to stay as long as it takes, I guess. And Ross, a leadoff walk. That'll help. Eric Kinski was in the on-deck circle. But rather than burn him in a bunt spot, Bobby Cox will use somebody else in a pinch. And it'll be Diori Hernandez as you see the standings, the score, and the Western Division race, which features the Padres in front of San Francisco.
Diori would like to atone for his inability to get a bunt down a couple of nights ago in a similar spot.
Farnsworth, a strikeout in his 1/3 of an inning. And Diori does the job.
Well done. You're talking about doing little things and your teammates appreciating it. There's another example of it.
Didn't waste any time doing it, too. That's the good thing.
Mm-hmm. Ambushed a high fastball to extend his hitting streak to 11 games, and for Omar, his 3rd homer of the year.
He'd settle for a single right here.
And a blooper, too.
He's hit the ball 3 times today. 2 line drives that were caught. One by Torres, one by Huff. He's hit the ball hard to all 3 fields today.
He's spraying it everywhere with a 340 average. In this long run of 11 straight games with a hit, 7 of those games, Omar's had 2 hits or more. So Martin Prado goes down. Omar Infante checks in. At least out of a leadoff spot, the Braves don't miss a beat.
No, that's the beauty of Omar, too. And it's virtually any position on the field, he could do that for you.
Doesn't have anywhere near enough plate appearances to qualify for the top 10 in hitting. But if he did and was hitting 340, he would be at the top.
I don't know if Omar is playing with a little chip on his shoulder, but everything he's done has justified his selection as an all-star. There's the flare, but it's not deep enough. And 2 are out in the Atlanta 8th. Melky Cabrera bats. He's 2 for 4.
We've seen him jump on the first pitch. See if he gets anything to hit here from Ray. Takashi Saito, not Billy Wagner, getting ready for the 9th.
And Bobby didn't want to use Wagner yesterday, but Braves closer had other ideas. So maybe today, a day off for Billy, get him ready for the Houston series.
They have Uribe, Ishikawa, and Sanchez due up. They still have Buster Posey on the bench, along with Edgar Renteria.
Well, with that firepower coming up, that's why one more run here would make a big difference.
It certainly would.
And might get it. Base hit right. Ross rounds. Huff's throw is up the first base line. Throw to second. Late. Had a baby, Melky. 6-3.
Oh, another clutch 2-out hit. And Aubrey Huff, as good a game as he's played in right field defensively, and he's made some terrific catches. He made a bad throw here, and he had a definite shot at David Ross, but his throw was just too far off the mark. No doubt that Brian Snitker was going to send David. You can see how far off the plate the throw was, and so far from the cutoff man, it allowed Melky to move up. Clutch hitting. Gotta love it.
12 hits for the Braves today, 3 of them from Melky Cabrera. Credit him with a single. He takes second on the throw and now has 30 RBIs.
You're safer out, Melky. Thank you. Just in case Doug Eddings needed any help.
Just got to make sure Doug agrees with him, that's all.
Alex Gonzalez in the box. He too with a 2-hit game. Started a beautiful double play in the 6th inning. I'll take that back. Started a beautiful double play in the 2nd inning. Hit into a double play in the 6th. This one into center for Aaron Rowan. Braves and an insurance run in the 8th inning. Oh, those leadoff walks late. They usually come around. This time David Ross scores the 6th run, and the Braves need 3 outs for a series win. And the Braves have made 4 AT&T calls to the bullpen. This one brings on Takashi Saito.
And he'll work with 2 days rest, trying to earn his first save of the year.
And it'll start with Juan Uribe, the Giants shortstop.
Trying to go to right field with that one, wasn't he?
Yeah, I guess he was making sure he took strike one when you're down 3 runs in the ninth.
Well, he's hit 15 homers this year. He had a 23 homer year with the White Sox a few years ago. Now down 2 strikes.
Honestly, as a pitcher in this situation, a home run would bother you less than having him take a walk or get a single.
I've just sent a signal to you that the rest of the Giants have not been told to go up there and take one.
Tipped and caught. 1 out. Last 3 Giants hitters have been retired on strikes.
Interesting about it, aside from the fact that they're down 3 runs in the ninth and he's not taking a strike, he's swinging obviously like he's trying to go deep, but he's swinging like Sato's throwing 104 miles an hour. I mean, there was no thought process whatsoever right there of I just need to get on base some way somehow. It was all about I'm running around all 4 bases.
Same thing here. Not the same type swing, but no regard at all for needing base runners.
No, there again, you're down 3 in the ninth. You must have been looking for a slider right there, I guess.
Just doesn't seem like many teams think that way anymore, though, Tom. There's hardly the process of take one just to see if this new guy coming in is struggling with his control.
They're also thinking about a 6-hour plane ride back to San Francisco after a hot weekend in Atlanta with the Cubs and Padres lying in wait.
Well, if that's the case, then just wave a white towel over there in the dugout and go to the clubhouse.
Fine with me.
Yeah. Sharp today. A couple of days rest for Takashi makes a huge difference for him.
Will you get credited with the save if they quit? How would that work?
Yeah, I think so.
As long as he got announced?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ishikawa straightaway center again, and Keel back. That one off the fence and rolling back toward the infield. As Travis Ishikawa has had 2 very destructive at bats his last 2 times up. A homer, now a double.
And he'd only hit 2 home runs on the year coming in, but he waited on that slider and golfed another one. Almost the identical spot.
He must have some kind of deceptive swing that Ankiel's seeing out there in center field, because for 2 balls that hit off the wall, one off the wall and one over his head, he did not get very good jumps on either one of those.
Freddie Sanchez, the hitter, 1 for 3. He gave up on that one, didn't he?
Braves have pitched him tough for this series too to this point. Just 2 for 16. Kept him off base.
strikeouts.
Twice they went upstairs, too. The strikeout to Uribe wasn't as high as perhaps David Ross wanted it. But I love elevating that fastball 0-2 to see if they'll chase. And he did. Good by him.
And Buster Posey is going to stand in for Eli Whiteside.
Tell you what, Saito's saying, I remember how to do this. Throw strikes. Saito saved 39 games for the Dodgers in 2007. The year before that, he saved 24.
Don't want to put Posey on. That would bring the potential tying run to the plate. Form of Aaron Rowan.
Braves have done a good job on Posey, too. 1 for 10 in the series, and the only hit was last night. A single.
Three balls, 2 strikes.
What do you throw
the Giants
here?
rookie catcher.
Wow, with a 2-run lead, or a 3-run lead, and a tying run on deck. You don't want to walk him, so I would think he's going to throw him a fastball, but
tipped and caught, and the Braves win it. What a way to pick up your first save of the year. Saito strikes out the side, and the Braves take 3 out of 4 from the Giants. They conclude a terrific homestand, 5-2, and head to Houston with a 2-game lead still over the Phillies in the East.
Our Toyota Tundra hardest working player today, Matt Diaz. Playing and batting in the cleanup spot against the left-handed pitcher. Couple of base hits. Then on this plate, swipes a bag, gets knocked down, gets up, goes to third on the overthrow. That's working hard. Matt Diaz, our Toyota Tundra hardest working player.